going to do a video review of the 18-volt impact driver by Milwaukee. I bought this about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, and I've been using it a lot. And so I thought I would do a review on it because a lot of people ask me about the various tools I use on my channel. So I thought I might do a few reviews every now and then. Now, I bought this as a kit. It came with the impact driver, the 3/8 drill, and of course the battery charger. 2 batteries, and somehow I came up with a flashlight. I'm not sure if I bought this separately or if it was thrown in with the package. I kind of forget. I know I did buy it online, and sometimes they run these specials like that, but I just forget. But anyhow, the flashlight to me is a huge deal because it's such a practical way to use a flashlight, and the light works so good, and you're able to just sit it and adjust the light where you need it. So I love the flashlight. In any of these kits that I buy, I always get a flashlight. But let's go over some of the features of this tool. Now, as I said, it's an 18-volt lithium battery. The older style batteries were the NiCad batteries, the nickel-cadmium batteries. So if you see some screw guns on sale, check and see what type of battery that they have, because they're usually the bigger style or the old version of batteries. These are smaller, more compact, have a lot more torque to them. So you really should try to go with a lithium battery. They also have available a longer lasting battery. It's a little bit bigger than this one. I didn't really see the need to it because this one has pretty good life to it as you're using it. Let's see, what else does this have? This also has an onboard charge indicator. I don't know if you can see that or not. You push that little button and you can see the red lines light up according to how much power it has. That's usually not something you use, but I can tell you, if you're going to climb up into an attic, you're going to go up underneath of a house and do some work, that may be a valuable asset to be able to check the strength of the battery before you get all the way underneath there, right? Let's see, what else? It's variable speed. But I got to tell you, the trigger is so sensitive on this that it's almost not much of a variable. It just wants to take off running. In fact, that took me quite a bit getting used to because it did it so much. Now I'm used to it. It's not a problem at all. But I got to tell you, it did take a little bit of getting used to because that trigger is so sensitive. Another feature it has, of course, is the LED light, where you push the trigger and the light comes on. If you barely push it, it'll come on without the drill operating. But Makita, on my Makita, I've got a Makita one here that I'll show you. I actually like this one a little bit better because it comes on and then stays on for a few seconds afterwards. That really comes in handy. I really like that. So it does have the LED light on here. It accepts these 1/4-inch hex bits. These are very common now. You usually use these with drivers. You can get flat paddle bits with them. You can get a number of accessories now, countersinks, all type of stuff that will fit in this 1/4-inch hex socket there. So I wouldn't buy one of these if you don't have a drill, but a lot of stuff you can get by, and I use this sometimes. But like I said, I wouldn't try to use this in place of a chucked drill because they're so much more practical to be able to get different things in them. Let's see, what else? This, of course, came with a charger. It also came with a belt clip. I took that off because it really was just kind of bulky. Didn't need it on there, but if you work off of ladders or that type of thing, that belt clip probably would come handy where you could hang it off of your tool belt. So that's pretty much the features that this has. Now, I'll tell you why I bought it, because I run a lot of screws into hardwood, and there's a lot of torque, and the driver I had before worked pretty good, but the batteries gave out. It was a NiCad batteries, and like always, the batteries fail before the drill does. So keep that in mind. The batteries almost always go down before the drill itself does, and then you end up with a drill like this, and you have to decide whether you're going to spend another $40 or $60 on batteries or just buy a whole nother drill. That's just kind of crazy. But here's the other reason that I bought this, was close quarters. Now when we take this bit out of there and we stack these next to each other, you can see how much shorter this Milwaukee or any of these impact drivers are compared to a drill. If you don't get in tight spots, not a problem. But if you do get in tight places, between floor joists, installing cabinets, a number of different things like that, this thing really comes in handy, and that was really one of the primary reasons why I went with the impact driver as well. So let's do some experiments between this and the 3/8 drill and see what we got. Because to tell you the truth, I haven't really compared them this way. In fact, I really haven't used this 3/8 drill all this much. But let's just do some comparative and see what we got. Okay, here's what we got. We got a couple 2x4s stacked up. This is just really a stock rest that goes over on my bench. And we're just going to poke a couple holes in this and see how it does. We're going to compare between the 3/8 driver and the impact driver. Now, I'll tell you one thing. If you're not that familiar with using these battery drills, you do yourself a big favor if you get one of these bit holders that are kind of long. You can see this one's small, this one's shorter. I use that for really compact places and cabinetry. But I would go with a longer one that really gives you a lot more control over your screw. It's kind of like trying to shoot pool with a short pool stick, if you can get that concept. So let's go ahead and do one. We'll do one in a 3/8 drill first, and we'll see how this goes in. Now you're going to notice that I'm going to have to put a lot more downward pressure to keep that Phillips bit inside the Phillips hole. Now that went in there pretty good. And I think I had that on, I even had that on fast. That wasn't even on this, that was on the drill setting. So that was pretty good. Let's do another one. Let's do one with the impact driver. You're going to see it's not that fast, but man, this thing's got the torque. Ready? Now, you saw that how it took longer, but trust me, this thing has way more torque. Maybe what we'll do is we'll get some hardwood out and see what we got. Okay, here we go. We're gonna run these two babies head to head. Now what you're gonna find is I think both of them are gonna run the screws in there pretty easily. We're gonna use drywall screws. Now drywall screws are very brittle. They break off. So I don't use those in my cabinet work because you have a screw break off, you got big problems sometimes. So I have these other type of screws that are much stronger, and I'm going to run those on the second run, and you'll see how they do. So let's get started here. We're in low gear with a Phillips drywall screw. And this is a piece of 3/4 inch maple. And that's about it. It won't go in all the way. I didn't think it would. It actually did better than I thought. Now let's do one with the impact. Now you're going to see the impact is no doubt going to break it off because of the way it surges like that. Well, I thought it was going to break it off, but it didn't. Let's do another one with a square drive and see what happens. That one ran it all the way down in there, because the square drive has so much more gripping power. Now you can see both of them do it, but I can tell you the energy it takes to drive it on the impact is a lot less because you're not pushing down so much. You're just basically keeping pressure on it. That's huge. Now when you're working in an area like this, it's not that big of a deal, but when you're working overhead, you're trying to screw something in an uncomfortable place and it takes a lot of pressure, forget about it. That's where the impact driver really makes a big difference. Okay, man, so that is going to wrap it up for this review of the Milwaukee 18-volt Impact Driver. I may do a review on this Makita one. I bought this one here for in the shop. It actually came as a set with a 3/8 drill as well. And it was a very cheap price. I've been having it out on the job with me every day, using it for tasks here and there, trying to get a good feel for it. I may do a review for that, so look for that if you're interested. And until the next time, I will see you on the next video.